Thank you for tuning into The Awakening. Once again, we have the lovely co-host again. Nikki's just going to be with me forever. I'm so happy. Because I hate recording by myself sometimes. So, today, what we got on the radar today, Reggie? What we got on the radar? We got some stuff to talk about.
Got a hot one. We coming in hot.
Look, we coming in. And look, I can't stand when we talk about this kind of subject with you, because, baby, you go, you know what I forgot? I forgot a fan. Because I think I'm going to have to fan a fire around here. I think you going to be setting it off so hard, I'm going to have to do something to you. But it's going to come from all love and respect.
I have a lot of grace on me today. Now, I say that a lot, and it becomes, the grace is like a minute to minute kind of thing with me. Yeah. I can have a lot of grace right now, and in 2 minutes, I'm going off. Jesus.
You forget you say you're going to give it to me, then you just
I forget. But I'm going to be nice.
Okay, now we're going to see. Faith. Okay, so today is something that...
You went old school, didn't it? Baby fat. Ow. That's what I'm talking about.
I did.
You know what I'm saying?
So, today we're going to discuss religious setback. So, when I say religious setback, what does that mean to you?
Boy, oh boy, I didn't know it was coming in my court already. So, there's a lot of ways to look at it, religious setbacks. Because, some people, the phrase, we all know the phrase, you're so spiritual, earthly good, I think is the phrase. We can be so spiritual, so always in the cloud that it sets us back. I know a lot of people, and I'm going to keep it real quick. I know a lot of people I'm thinking of one person in particular. Why do I always do that? And then I say it. Anyway, at least I'm thinking about you. So I'm thinking of one person in particular who, the simplest request. You can ask the simplest question and they got to pray about it. Now, I know the Bible says go to God with all things and pray and all that stuff. But, some stuff is like, my God. The simplest. And I'm talking, think of the simplest thing, and it was more simple than that. And not only do they have to pray about it, but they don't get back to you for weeks at a time. And when you go back to him, they're like, well, God ain't told me yet. Because he's not concerned about what you're having for dinner, So, I say this, he's concerned about it, but y'all know what I'm saying. So I think about that. Religious setbacks, I also think about people who spend so much time in church, they neglect their families. They neglect their spouses. They're so busy traveling, ministering maybe, that they neglect home. And the Bible talks something about people who, I don't really know. I probably shouldn't say what the Bible said, but I know it's in there somewhere. Something about you can't maintain your house or something. And you can take care of the church, but your house is falling apart. So I look at those things as spiritual setbacks, religious setbacks, excuse me. I look at them as religious setbacks because a lot of people have gone more religious than they are spiritual. And you're just so up there. So you think that your relationships, your finances, your goals, your job is falling apart. You leaving your job because your pastor said, come here and run this errand for me. And you left your job. You ain't told your job nothing. Now you finna lose your job, and your pastor depending on you because they ain't got no job because they ain't full-time ministry. They depending on you to pay your tithes from your job so they can pay their bills. And now you done got fired because you're doing what your pastor said. Now both of y'all sitting here looking crazy. And they ain't gonna look at themselves, they're gonna blame you. Now you can't go to pastor because you need your bill paid. Why? Because your pastor can't pay their own bills because you ain't paying no tithes no more. I'm laughing because, my God, this is how we're starting off today. Is this what we're doing today?
Blame it. Just fine. But I'm going to tell you something. Give you your words that you gave me when we first started talking about this topic. Because we was talking about it a while back. And, when me and Reggie talk, I have a tendency. Sometimes he's like, do you hear me, girl? And I'll be hearing him, but he is very he is very smart. He is very wise beyond his years. And when we was talking about the certain situation, he said, you know, a lot of people is alive in religion, but dead in Christ. You remember saying that?
I said that. That was
You
good. I might need to write that down.
Look, and I wrote it down. And you wonder why I wrote it. Because if you can't get something from your friends, you know, you can't get nothing from your, you know, you have to check that. Like, yeah, did. And so because that come, you know, religion, it ain't like it used to. You know, it's just different now. And I have a tendency to tell some older women, in particular, that you have to change your way of thinking in religion nowadays in order to reach this younger version. This younger version. Matter of fact, prime example, me and your mama just had this conversation Saturday, and I was telling her, I said, you know, this generation, she said, we can't do what it don't work on. You can literally tell these kids that they going to hell because they doing something, and they gonna say, how fast can I get there? Or I get out of there when I get, you know, get there, because they don't think. They don't think, they don't care, and they had no sense of, like, the way religion is now.
Don't go too far because I got something to say about that.
We had fear. And when I say that, we had fear because we fear God. Not only, and I tell parents this all the time, if you don't have no fear for God, how you expect your kids to have fear? And you're not supposed to literally say, when I say fear, I mean, I'm talking about, yeah, like you don't acknowledge him, you don't put him first, you know, and then you think, oh, one of the pet peeves that people do that I hate is God know my heart. And he know that sucker ain't right too.
Bro. You know what I'm saying?
He know it ain't right. So yeah, he know your heart. But guess what? That makes it even worse. Because you have gotten so set up in religion that you think you can be out here. The word that I want to use, the example I want to say, my grandma probably would slap me right now.
She gone.
I know. If I was, look, sleeping out of both pan legs and don't expect nothing to be said. Or nothing to be, like, you want to do all this sin. Oh, God know my heart. He know I got audition. He know what the religious setup is like now. It's like, in a way, it's an excuse to do stuff. That's how I look at it. It's like you constantly doing something and you ain't changing, but you want to speak it. Does that make sense?
It does, but one of the things that I want to bring up is the fact that it is true. What worked on some of y'all in the past is not working on this generation, but thank God. You know, now I know this is about to be a very controversial thing that I'm about to say, and y'all know I don't care. Could not care less if I tried. Thank God. Because do you know a lot of people live their lives with the look of godliness. You know, the Bible does talk about the look of godliness somewhere in there. You know, in case it's your first time here, hi guys. I'm not a Bible scholar. I know what's in there. I might not be able to quote it verbatim, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna say enough to where if you Google it, you can find it. And if I feel like it, I'll Google it myself while we're on this recording. Just so unprofessional of me. But, you know, a lot of people have the look of godliness, and I've said this before. I call it church clothes. It's just like when you go to church. I mean, you dress like a hoochie mama Saturday night. You dress like who done it Monday morning. You go out with your bonnet on your head, and they ain't saying nothing wrong, they ain't saying nothing right about it. But I'm just saying you doing it on Wednesday. You know, you looking bad with the worn out, toe up, stinking nasty t-shirt that you ain't washed in 3 weeks on Thursday. I mean, you looking rough on Friday, and you didn't wipe the crust out of your eyes on Tuesday. I know y'all thought I forgot about Tuesday. And you get up on Sunday morning. I mean, you wipe your face for the first time in about 3 days. You put on your makeup, and I ain't talking about that makeup that you got from the cheap store with all that glitter in it. You got some makeup that, you know,
And man,
matte, you know, the good stuff.
yeah,
And you look real good, and you got yourself put together, and you put on your suit, man, with your tie, and you got it positioned just right. And I mean, y'all wear y'all high heels. I mean, you look good. And guess what else you do? You spray on a little perfume after you got out the shower. You got a whole good long shower in Sunday morning so you can look good and smell good. Why? Because you are going to church. I'm going to the house of the Lord. And you go to church with your church clothes on, but you still ain't right. You just put on the facade for the people on Sunday. And a lot of people have done that for generations in their lives, not just in their church clothes, their physical clothes, but they've done it in their generation. You know, you at Walmart, you know you got a case of beer in your cart, but then when the pastor, you see your pastor, you hurry up and cover that beer up with some so they don't see it, because you don't want them to see all of that stuff, because you want to reverence the man of God. You don't want to, but at the end of the day, you still ain't right. And this is generation after generation after generation, because there is really and truly no real fear in God. People think this generation don't have a fear of God. No, those past ones don't, because y'all still have bad attitudes, y'all still sleeping around, y'all still getting drunk, y'all still lying. Exaggeration is lying. So if you exaggerating, you lying. You still doing all kind of stuff. You still gossiping. You keeping up with the latest tea. You lying on people. You cheating. You scheming. You scamming. You doing all this stuff. But at least you went to church on Sunday. And so this is a spirit of religion. And so thank God it's not working, because a lot of y'all don't read the Bible. You don't know the word for yourself. You hear what the pastor saying, the pastor misquotes scriptures, and you going around saying the same thing, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It ain't in the Bible. Y'all going around saying, touch not my anointing, do my prophet no harm. It's talking about sexual immortality. Y'all going around saying all this kind of stuff because you learned it from your pastor. Your pastor was wrong. So thank God it's not working for this generation, because we don't have that hypocritic spirit. And you can't just say stuff to this generation and we just go with it. Thank God you got to prove us that you are right. We're not going to just listen to you and say you right, and I'm going to listen and I'm going to do what you say because you wrong. You know, I can go down a long list of stuff people doing. Ammonia ain't gonna clean your house of spirits. Sage is demonic, it's witchcraft. Sage is not gonna clean your house of spirits. It's demonic, it's witchcraft. Crystals ain't gonna clean your house of spirits. It's demonic, it's witchcraft. Show me in the Bible otherwise. And so we have these old generations who's doing this stuff and they believe this stuff because nobody taught them any better. They were taught incorrectly. They never wanted to educate themselves. So we have miseducation in the church. You know, then I'm going to be quiet because I'm talking for a long time. The church is really not a religious institution, it's an educational institution. You know, you go to church not for religion, you go to church to learn. And when you have somebody miseducated, y'all know I wrote a book about prayer. And one of the things that I went throughout the whole book is debunking stuff that's been taught that's just not real, stuff that's been taught of the Bible that's just not true. Y'all misinterpreted scripture and it's just not true. And the thing is, people believe those things because that's what they've been taught for years. But thank God this generation is saying, I'm gonna do my own research. Or this generation is also saying, you saying don't do this and that, but look at what you do. So how can you tell me it's not out of disrespect, it's just out of being honest? How can you tell me when you, so that's not a blindness. Past generations have been blind. Y'all just overlook stuff. You take stuff with a
and
grain of salt and you move on. And we're just not blind. Our eyes are open.
in some senses, where the church that I grew up at, whatever, I just didn't go along with everything. I was that Sunday school kid that I'm gonna ask you why. But when they used to say it's a sin, because at one point in time, I felt like everything is a sin. Like if you cough too hard, it's a sin. If you do this too hard, it's a sin. And I used to tell, God rest her soul, my auntie, she was like the aunt of the church in a sense to all us kids. Evangelist Shirley Keys. And when I tell you we used to have that Sunday school class lit, our Sunday school class used to be lit with fun and laughter because when none of us cheering up there, like, why? You got to go to bed on time. It's a sin if you stay up late. What? Like it's a sin to stay up late? Like, what is it? It's like everything was a sin. And I feel like had I wouldn't have asked questions and pushed back or whatever, I would have been messed up. But I thank God that she took the time to acknowledge, and even the pastor, now I'm gonna tell you something. We used to stay on her. She used to have to stop the grown folks Sunday school class and be like, I need I need some help over here. Cause these kids, like we used to go in. So, but and it did seem that way. It did seem like everything was a sin. Like, God, you can't do nothing. Everything
with no
is a sin.
explanation. With no explanation.
Yeah, like
just don't do it.
And she'll take us in the Bible where, it says, rise up early, how God rose up early, stuff like that. And I was like, but is it a sin though? Like literally, is it a sin? Is it really a sin? And so I think now religion it set us back because we aren't we certain generations and the older generation especially, they're not willing to meet people at where they are. And I'm gonna say that. So if you got a child, so if my kid has an issue and I know she got an issue, I know the issue ain't right, but I'm not gonna beat them down about the issue. I'm gonna tell them what's thus said the Lord, and I'm gonna let it be, and I'm gonna pray for them, and I'm gonna keep going, and we're gonna keep moving on. You can't tell them that God ain't gonna help them or God is not there for them because because they're not moving fast enough for you. And that's one of the things that we, this generation, you have to meet these kids where they are now. You can't they don't fear because you don't fear. How can you expect to tell a child what they need to do spiritually? Like, I tell my kids what is right. We do watch service on TV, but we don't go to church no more like we used to. And it's something that I want to change, but until God shows me where to go, I have to really act accordingly because I can't tell them this and that, and I ain't doing it myself. You got to lead by example. And one of the things that I feel like, and go back to that, you so religious that you isn't an earthly good is my daughter, prime example. She liked to do certain stuff and she a comedian sometimes. Soraya, she'll try to be funny, be a little baby comedian at times. And she was like, am I gonna go to, is it wrong if God gonna get me for saying that or doing that? And I'm like, Soraya, it was just a joke. It was a true joke at that. But it was something that she made into a joke. And I said, you didn't lie. It was just a joke. You good. And with that being said, she was like, because I was told that's wrong, that's evil. And I was like, no, it's the truth. And it let me know then if I don't get her straight and tell her it's okay it's okay to laugh. Like if you was a Christian, you'll feel like you can't laugh. Religious like that nowadays. Everything is so uptight. Like
You know, and it gets on my nerves. I mean, and I don't even say that about stuff, so I shouldn't say it about that. It's not good on my nerves because I do take my words seriously. But it is very annoying. I hate to go to churches. Like I can see a person outside of church and they're more, relaxed. But then when they go to church, they be all stiff and stuck up and they gotta walk like they. And I'm like, look at that. Just look at you're a joke to me, honestly, because I really think that people need to learn, um, like it's okay to relax.
yeah,
So I remember there was this pastor who used to, hey, if you're watching, who used to preach with her prayer shawl and everything. And I mean, she was just very stern and serious every time she preached. And I'll never forget one day she got up and she took it off. And she said, you know what? If I got to do this for the rest of my life, I'm going to have a good time doing it. And it's going to be okay. And from then on that, I mean, she relaxed. Her messages were more well received. Doesn't mean that they were less serious. It doesn't mean that they were less accurate. It doesn't mean that she started getting up trying to tickle everybody's feelings and stuff. It just means that she let her guard down
yeah,
as far as trying to be, because I don't understand why people feel like when you get saved you got to be, people get saved and they be walking around, you know my God, people get saved and you don't see them in jeans no more. They got to wear their pantsuits everywhere they go. They got to wear their skirt down to their ankle. I mean, they can't have their hair done a certain way. Got to be up in a bun, and it's like you fake. You fake. And when you really think about it, a lot of the ways that church and Christianity has been portrayed, why would anybody want to be a part of that? Like, why would I want to be a part of that?
right,
Because a lot of this is where it's rooted. That phrase, that thought pattern of, no, I can't come to church. I can't get my life to Christ. I still got some more to do. And a lot of these people, it ain't that they want to be out here just going wild. It's just that they feel like they can't go to the family cookout because they saved now.
right.
When that's not true. But it's because people have portrayed it to the point where you gotta just limit yourself from, you can't go to the family cookout. You can go to your brother's birthday party. If you go, you gotta go late, leave early. You gotta sit in a corner. You gotta look down. You gotta be isolated from everybody because you don't want to be a part. And that is a lot of y'all live a very miserable Christian life when there are so many of us out here who are just having a blast. And it's just a shame that y'all would have to live that way. I just be looking like, man, oh man.
Everything is a sin, and I have to tell my kids
Let
all
me
the
say
time.
this right quick. Let me just say this right quick. Everything is a sin. Why would somebody who is not saved want to know that God that just judges everything? Everything is a sin. Everything that I do is wrong. Why would I want to know that God? I don't. I don't even know that God. Thank God, because He don't exist. Not in my life. Go ahead. My bad. Just want to throw that out.
But it's sad, and now it's like kids, they don't care. They don't care about nothing. Some of them really, because it's like you say, who want to serve like that? Who want to do that? You can be for real about Christ. I know some young boys and young girls that is on fire for the Lord, and they still able to go certain places and do certain things because what you want to get them to understand, your light can shine any and everywhere. So if you was to go to a party or go to a football game, a basketball game, and your light can shine, that's not a sin. It's a sport.
Right. And your light can't shine if you're not there. That reminds me of somebody that I know who was at a resort and they were sitting at the bar and everybody around them was drinking. They was taking shots. They had their cocktails and stuff. And she had, I think it was like a Sprite or something. And she said, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I just know I don't drink, and I just wanted a Sprite. And she was like, that's all I was doing, just sitting there, not even thinking about anything, just having a casual conversation with a friend, drinking a Sprite. And she said two people came up to her and asked, are you saved? And she was like, yeah, I am. And they were like, wow, I'm just so amazed to see how you're sitting here. Everybody else is drinking and you're drinking a Sprite. That really encouraged me. That really did something
Exactly.
to me. That person would have never experienced that. So when we say you can still go out and have a good time, we ain't saying go out and have a good time and get sloppy drunk. You know, we got to carry you out. But you can still go out and have a good time in your light, because her light would have shined to those people. And who knows who else felt that way who just didn't go up to them. Her light would have shined to those people if she was just still in her hotel room, because she didn't want to be out around them people around the pool at the bar who was drinking and stuff. So you can go into those crowds and your light can shine. It's just in how you carry yourself. Don't mean you got to carry yourself to be serious. Yeah, I mean, because she was sitting in a bikini, by the way, two piece. So it don't mean you have to be, dressed like a nun head to toe. I know nuns don't do that no more, but like the tradition of how we see nuns, head to toe, with your boots on, sitting by the pool, and you scared to let your hair down. So it don't mean that you don't have to do all of that. You can still go and have a good time, and your light can only shine in those places if you go. Now, if you ain't strong enough to go and not have a drink, some of y'all just got saved.
Exactly.
Y'all not strong enough to not have that drink. Y'all stay in that room. Y'all find y'all somewhere with a bar ain't. Don't tempt yourself like that. But for those others, I mean, come on, just how would you want people to present Christ? Because too many of these people push people away from Christ. And then they complain about those same people.
Yeah.
They judge those same people. But really and truly, it was you who pushed them away.
Push them clean up out the door. And to the point that they don't even want to be a part of.
Right.
So we as humans, and we as Christians and whatever, you can still be that light, man. You can still go, one of the things I tell young kids, especially young girls, when I talk to them and I have visual parties and stuff, I have told them you can still be you. You can still be of God. What? Be kind, be humble, you can still be you. It's okay. Like have a prayer, set up a prayer life. It's okay. Religion ain't bad. And they were like, well, yeah, you got to stay this and you got to do this and you got no, you don't. You can still be religious and still have God in you and laugh. Okay.
And watch a TV show. You can watch same shows like other folks be watching. You can still watch, some of this stuff be real out there, but I don't know. You can still go to the movies. A lot of people, the last time they went to the movies when War Room was in the movies. Like, go and watch a movie, guys. It don't have to be like a faith-based movie. I don't know who made Medea a faith-based. Y'all can, I don't even know where that came from. I guess because I'm thinking about people that go to the movies with a Christian movie set or Medea. But anyway, y'all, I mean, just go to the movie, watch a movie. Some people, they don't watch nothing but they sit up and they listen to music videos, Christian music videos all day. They sit up and they they watch preachers all day. They sit up and they watch encouraging messages all day, instrumental music. I mean, find you something else find you a show that you like that don't come on TBN or the Word Network. Find you a show that come on BET or something. Find you a movie that come on USA Network. It's okay, guys.
And a lot of people fail to realize, it's a lot of good movies. TDJ's got this 2 movies I had seen. Is a Betrayal and it's another movie. And I was like, oh, this is a good movie.
And you can't even, because them Lifetime movies he got.
Yeah.
And it's not even the typical, because I don't watch faith, like them Christian movies. I'm saved, sanctified through the Holy Spirit, baptized. I'm born again, now by contact, But I just don't watch me no faith-based movie. I'll be like, man, this sucks. It's boring. It's predictable. It's horrible. But I really commend him for them two movies because watching them, you would not even think that it's supposed and it has a message behind it. But and so that's that's a very good example of this man is a bishop and he has it was sex in the movies. Now it wasn't overly explicit, but it was very realistic because these faith-based movies really ain't realistic. That's what y'all want y'all life to look like, and that's why y'all broken on the inside. Some of y'all might be going to hell too. But it's realistic. Life, it's life, and so I just really need people to let their hair down. Now, one of the things that I think would be good to bring up, and I remember us talking about this before, is like, and you mentioned this earlier, how we have people who they have these churches, especially these older pastors, and they still are doing the same things that were done in the church when they were children, because they saying, "Well, God don't change, and I'm gonna give it to them." They still talk like they regular sentences is quoting King James. And y'all know that KJV be kind of hard to read sometimes. And they don't try to make it relatable because they expect the younger generation to be where they think that they at. A lot of them really ain't there because they be getting it wrong. And their excuse is God doesn't change. But I have something to say about it, but I want to throw that at you right quick first.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So so one of the things that I think that is just a very insane thing, because what people do is they limit God to 15 BC, 35 AD. When God literally transcends time. So he's never behind the latest trends. So guys, it's okay to pick up your phone and record a video and put it on TikTok. It's okay to live stream your service on Facebook because people are that deep to where you got to come in and sit down, and we're gonna have these services, and we're gonna do it just like this because this is how it was done when I was a child, and we're gonna keep it like this, and we ain't gonna do this extra. No, we don't need no projectors. No, we don't need. And then they criticize people who are more modern in their churches, and it's just like, you behind time because you think God's still there. It's really what you're doing when he transcends time. So God's not going to be offended by you. I don't know, maybe reading out of the Message version sometimes, because how many of you know God didn't write KJV? Did y'all know that? Now that brings up a good point, because maybe people think God hand wrote the KJV. You guys do know there's a guy named King James, right? Who, like, that's his writing. Did you guys know that? I don't think they knew. It just is. I think they don't know that, because why do people think that you got to read the KJV? And if you don't read that, you're wrong. When every version of the Bible was translated by somebody else. So I'm a little confused about that. But you guys can modernize your techniques and your styles. Because God isn't going to be offended. He's more offended actually by you. Because what you've done is you put him in a box and you've said, limited. This is how. Right. And he has nothing to do with time. What is it? A day to us is 1,000 to him. Ain't that what it's 1,000 years? Something like that.
Yep, something like that.
One day in your presence is 1,000. One day in your presence is 1,000. Is it 1,000 years? Yeah. One day is as 1,000 in his court. Something like that. Y'all get what I'm saying. She for to look it up for us. Give us a moment, guys.
What?
I'm there. 2 Peter 3:8. One day is like 1,000 years. I ain't fit to read all of it, but that's what it is. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years. So, and 1,000 years, it's like one day. What sense does that even make? Let's just be honest, guys. Somebody just got offended that I said that, by the way. What sense does that make? With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. So a day to us is like 1,000 years to him. 1,000 years to us is like a day to him. It makes no sense. That's the purpose of it. It's not supposed to make sense because he transcends time. So we cannot say we have to keep it this way because that's how God wanted when he is not still there. Why are y'all keeping him back there?
Tell me
Because
some wrong.
just lying on the man. Because they weren't doing it. Y'all were modern. 1950 church was modernized compared to Bible Day church. So let's just make it make sense. A lot of people don't think what the conclusion is. A lot of people don't think. So I mean, please find new ways to reach this use because instead of just sitting around saying how they're lost and complaining about them, look at yourselves. You know, a big thing with me, in case y'all can't tell, is self-analyzation. Just looking at yourself. Stop putting it off on everybody else. Look at yourself instead of saying, because where did they come from? You know, there wasn't a glitch in the matrix that made all of this generation rebellious. Y'all know that, right? If that's true, then God is the one who did it because God is the one who made all of us. So there was nothing in the matrix that just made all children rebellious. We have got to look at the past generations, including those who are still alive who are before us, and figure out what was done wrong, what was done differently, or is this really a problem? Is this really a problem? I don't think it's a problem. I think that people just haven't figured out how to handle this generation.
Yeah.
And so they just deemed us as rebellious, deemed us as lost. We ain't far, you know.
So let's, with that being said, we just gonna pray that everybody gets better.
I ain't doing it. I'm tired.
And say this. When he said you could be so holy that you're not earthly good, I was at a convention last month. And the minister said the problem with religious folks nowadays is they want to be the goat behind the pulpit, but not the goat in the field. You want to go hard in the pulpit, but you can't go hard in the streets. You can't get that same love in the streets. You can't leave that same example. You too perfect. You God, you can't. You forgot where you came from. You forgot you used to be a smoker. You forgot you used to cuss. You forgot you used to club. You forgot you used to have fornication. You forgot you had your kids out of wedlock. We got to get out of that. We got to get out of this. We got to reach these folks where they is and help them grow because we was once that person. And in order to get them to do better, sometimes in order to get them to do better and grow, we got to be able to let them understand, yeah, we was once that person too. But how did we make it? And don't knock them because they're not making it as fast as you want them to make it. Hello.
That goes hand in hand with, and I've said this on a few shows about different things, and I probably said it also today. There needs to be, and this is just a national, I think it's more than national, but this is a national thing. There needs to be humility in the pulpit. You know, a lot of y'all have thought y'all have got elevated. You have had your ordinations and your installations and your consecrations, and hands have been laid upon you, and you feel like you have had about 10 years under your belt, 15, 20, 30 years under your belt. And now you've gotten to the point where you are looking down. You know, this is why I hate when I see preachers sitting in sitting in chairs in their pulpits that look like thrones. Because it is a very good representation of how you feel compared to those in the pews. You feel like you have made it. You feel like you have been elevated. You feel like you have just made it up high and you're the highest that it can be. And if anybody is gonna make you higher, your head gonna be in the clouds. There's no humility. and you want people to serve you, because I served all them years. Now it's my turn to be served. You you you're a little off, and that was the nice way of me putting it. That's why I said you so many times. So I was really for the dog out. You're a little off, and there's something wrong there. There's really something wrong there, and that's why, because a joker like me, you know what I'm saying? I just ain't gonna be able to do it. I just ain't gonna be, not me. Now you need to get you a good tribe. That's why I always say a lot of people don't really. Well, you might think you want me, and you might need me in your church. Come on, but you really don't, because I'm just not going to be able to do it, because there's too many high and mighty, unsubmitted. Un- a lot of people are in the pulpit and they've lost their love, and we're going to end. A lot of people in the pulpit, they've lost their love for God. You use the pulpit, as goes back to what we talked about one time on another show that I don't know if it's already shown or not, but goes back to slave master, slave, slave master,
Witchcraft.
slave. You want to be high and mighty. You got to feel powerful somewhere because you were held down. You were held back. Now it's my time. No, it is not your time. You should be humble. You should be serving. I love to see when pastors serve their people. I love to see it.
Yeah.
I love to see when I go somewhere and the pastor is back there fixing somebody's plate. You mean to tell me you ain't sitting down waiting for your plate to be fixed? I love to see it. I love to see when the pastor gets excited. There's just so much crookedness, and we're not gonna go into detail. There needs to be some humility. Y'all got to stop with this standing. Y'all need to just get some humility in y'all churches, starting at the pew. And once you get humility, then your eyes will really come open, and then you can better serve the people. Because that's really your job as a pastor, is to serve the people, not for them to serve you. And you'll be able to better reach people. Because I know a lot of people who go to certain churches and I be looking like I would never, they'd be inviting me to their church. No, because I see how there's something off here. Um, it's just it's just not right. Every time you look around, you got to be at the church doing this, doing that. Am I saying that you shouldn't serve in the pews? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying there's no good balance there. And
Yeah.
so we just need to bring humility, because, and then another thing that I'd be looking at, I hate to see, the pastor can't even lift their hands in worship. They just that deep, you that deep. There just needs to be a lot of humility in the pulpits. And when you get that, your eyes will really come open, and you'll be able to better see how you can serve, because you are a servant, how you can serve this next generation. If you don't, your churches are going to die. Why? Because your members are going to get older and they're going to die, and nobody going to be replaced with the younger. And you ain't going to have nobody to leave it to, because you ran the youngest off. That's why many churches don't grow. That's why many churches keep shrinking. It's not because of COVID. And that will open up a whole nother door. It's not because of COVID. At this point, guys, I really would that you would do better. I really do. That is my strong desire for you guys. If you need any tips or advice on how we would like to be, like a good church, I can point you in the direction of some that are doing it very well. Um, and you can just look at them and see how they're doing well. You can also just submit yourself to God, because you've lost your first love, which is God, and you just fell in love with the power, the fame, the authority, the honor. And a lot of y'all are leading people to hell, and I'm afraid that some of y'all are gonna bust it wide open. I'm talking about atomic bomb hell. It's how it's gonna be for some of y'all. I mean, hell is gonna get nervous because you're going there, and they're gonna say they're gonna come in here and they're gonna just take over because they're just so messed up. I really would that you would get better, repent, and do right, so you can make it in. We want you to make it into heaven. We want you to make it in. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Ah, we want you guys to make it in. But it starts with humbling yourself. Chantel, do you have anything else?
I don't have nothing. You can close us out.
Lift your hands,
Look,
Father. No, I'm just playing.
you can close us out because I knew you were gonna go there. Just let me fan my book. I appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to give us your feedback. Listen to us on Spotify, all of Apple, everywhere. YouTube. Tune in, subscribe, like The Awakening. We got it all. Reggie Whitley's podcast. Look, got everything. This man just snapped up. I can't even think of anything else. But we got for tuning in today, and I hope he blessed y'all with some nuggets because he definitely blessed me because I knew he was gonna do it. I knew he was gonna do it. So Reggie, with that being said, thank you, sir, for telling us the truth and helping us.
I be trying.
I told you,
you're trying.
Y'all need those people in your life that just gonna tell you the truth and tell you in love. See, that was number love.
And then I say it kind of nicely, adding holler.
You did it nice, and you weren't even disrespectful.
Hey man, because I can't get a little disrespectful at the mouth.
Yeah, you get a little hood on.
I ain't need you to agree.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys for tuning in once again to The Awakening. Peace out.
Bye.